So kind of give you the game plan of where we're going to go today. I'm going to share with you some stuff. We always want to be real tactical, give some stuff that really helps you in your business and your life, and then we're going to take some time and actually mastermind. You'll talk about, hey, where you are, what you do, who you serve, you know, the arena you're playing in, the game, the sandbox, the playing field you're on right now, what the challenges are, and we'll kind of brainstorm some things there, network on those things. I think the weather must have knocked us down. This is the smallest one we've had, but hey, all I can tell you is it's clear we got some quality, right? All right, so we'll do that. There's some notes there. If you were going to say,
I appreciate you.
Think about the most important attribute. What I really want to talk about, and it's on your notes there, is capacity. And so if I just ask you, hey, what are you capable of? What's your maximum capacity? What would you say?
I don't know. Whatever I'm able to put my mind to it.
Okay, what do you put your mind to it? I love Jacoby's answer. How do I know?
Yeah.
Because what I would suggest, like strongly, I'd argue with you. Whatever you think your capacity is, it's greater than that. We're capable of so much more, but when you think about it, we sometimes pull back from that. But if you're going to reach your capacity, if you're going to be capable of doing all you can at the moment, and it's only for a moment, because when you hit that, when you grow there, I mean, y'all think Stephen's always been that big? I've seen some pictures of this dude in high school. He was pretty jacked in, but this is a whole new level, right? How'd he get there? Kept leveling up and leveling up and leveling up. And that's part of the goal for us. So we'll just start here. If I said, hey, raise your left hand. Go ahead and do it. Oh, I like it. Raise it higher. Raise it higher. Now, if I said, and I'll give you one in a minute, don't ask if it's real, because that'd be an IQ test. But if I said, whoever raises their hand the highest gets $1 million bill. Oh, well, you're getting better, but why aren't you standing on the chair?
Oh,
and why aren't you on? And by the way, did anybody know this? This is a 2-story building. And would it be worth $1 million to go find a sky track or a ladder or get a fireman to come put you up on top of it? Or maybe you go, what's the tallest building? What's the time limit? Let me find the tallest building in Lubbock, or I'm going to go get in an airplane. Because when you start thinking about it and you're committed to it, all of a sudden you go, wait a second. There are more solutions. You might want to write this down. There are more solutions to the challenges I'm facing than I immediately think of. Is that true for you?
Yes, sir.
How often do you approach the same problems, the same ways, and get the same results, and you just keep doing it over and over and over? Would you agree it's almost every single time? I don't know about you. I don't even know if you thought about it this way. I want a new set of problems.
Say it again. More solutions to the challenges I'm facing than what?
That I'm immediately aware of. I mean, how many times in a week or a month do you face the same challenges? Now, when I pause, that means I'm looking for some interaction. Anybody?
On a daily.
On a daily. I mean, it seems like it's the same stuff. And I don't know about you. You ever surprised when it comes up? No. Sometimes, I mean, I used to be, and I thought, wait a second. If I'm surprised that the same thing happens, like one of my roles is I run a car wash equipment installation company. Would anybody be surprised if in construction we have the same problems over and over and over and over and over?
No.
It's the same thing. So if one of my guys called me and says, hey, blah, 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 and I'm like, what? I never saw that. Whose fault is that?
Yours.
That's mine. That's my fault. So if I want a new set of problems, what do I need to do with these current problems?
Figure out.
Not just figure out how to get through them, solve them. I want to raise, so hey, you should expect that, and I'm going to do everything I can from this place, because I tell them if I show up at a job, everything's gone wrong. But if I could do my part here, and I could equip those guys there, and we could see ahead, you ever have a hard time pausing long enough to see what's coming down the road? Then all of a sudden I get a new set of problems, because we solve those. They're not problems anymore. Now they may come up, but it's not a problem. So if you think about what's necessary, the most important attribute you can have if you're going to continually expand your capacity, the most important attribute you can have, if you're going to continually expand your capacity, go ahead and write down the word or the phrase that comes to mind.
So just whatever we think.
Yeah, whatever you think it is. Like, because when we go here, like, how many of you believe that you've reached your maximum capacity? I mean, you are as good personally and professionally as you can be. No, nobody? So we're capable of more, but how long have you kind of been in the same area? Kind of see yourself settling in occasionally and like, hey, here I am. I could be better. What's the next statement for you? Next word's probably, but it's pretty good. I don't have time. You know, you can think about it, income.
Yeah, you're happy with what you're making?
Hey, I've never made as much money as I'm making right now.
Goal setting as well.
Yeah.
Mindset.
You can say your goal setting, your mindset. I could talk about my relationship. I'm married 36 and a half years. I mean, we make it to the end of summer, 37 years. All right? Yeah, for real. Like, hey, baby, they're clapping for you. She's on the video. But, you know, it's like, that woman's got to be tough. But I'm not the same guy I was then. She's grateful for that. I'm a lot better husband. Like, I don't know how anybody could be that tough and put up with me initially. Like, I can't tell you how bad I was, how terrible a husband I was. I'm a lot better now, but you know the rest of the story? No matter how far I've come in 36 and a half years, I'm not even close to halfway. But sometimes I go, whoo, she's got to be proud of how far I've come. I mean, this is a lot. Am I capable of more? You could go down everything. And I'm going to suggest to you that the most important attribute is attitude. Because your attitude determines everything else. Sometimes we hear our attitude and we think of it as just kind of a rah-rah, you know, it's something you talk about and it kind of gets you fired up, but it doesn't make a difference. I would suggest to you really strongly that attitude is the most important attribute. That attitude determines how you view yourself, how you view others, how you view things as either a problem or a challenge or an opportunity, how you view the future, how you view the past, everything. Attitude is the lens through which we experience everything in the world, including ourselves. And so attitude is super important. You can think about all those kind of words, and maybe that's just planting some seeds. I want to let you look at them for a moment and just think about, like, what's my attitude? And the biggest one is right there in the middle. Your self-confidence. And some of us in the room know each other well enough to be really honest, and some of us feel like we got to put on the facade. People have told me, hey, Ray, you're the most self-confident person I've ever met. I don't know if that's right or not. I'm like, I don't know how many people you met. And usually I'm pretty confident. But I got some times it's a struggle. And when you're struggling in here, when you're struggling between your ears, what does that affect? Everything. Now, all those other ones are important. But it's really about your self-confidence. You ever feel like you're the great pretender? You're putting on a show for everybody else, sometimes even for yourself. I want to walk a certain way. I want to talk a certain way. I want to drive a certain car. I want to have certain things. Some of it's for me, but also, here's just my quick story. I'm a motorcycle guy. I'm riding with some friends. We're on Harleys, big old nice Harleys. We're coming through Artesia, New Mexico. Got a look. We've ridden up from Carlsbad. We're on our way. We're cutting through to meet another friend, pick them up. We're going to Ruidoso. Beautiful riding. We pull up to this four-way stop, and there's a dude on a moped. And I thought, dude, that's got to suck. I mean, it's great.
Me.
That was you. I mean, it's great fuel economy. If you're into fuel economy, like there was a time where I got a car just for fuel economy, and then I figured out, hey, there's some things worse than paying for gas, and that car was one of them. But it's like, oh. You ever feel like a great pretender? Here's why it matters, how we view ourselves. I don't know if anybody else is a Zig Ziglar fan. Man, I literally grew up with a steady diet of Zig Ziglar. Look at what he says. It's impossible to consistently behave in a manner inconsistent with how we see ourselves. Stop there for a second. That applies to all kinds of things. I believe you can do anything at all. Like any job, you can do that job. Any role, you can do that role. You can do anything for a while. But after a while, it drives you crazy. You know what I'm talking about? I'll sow the seed for you. When I went to college, I went as an accounting major. 1 year made it very clear to me, I've got to be interacting with people. And so if I sit in an office or a cubicle and I look at numbers and a computer screen all day long, I'm just going to go. Now, I'm capable. I'm good with math. I'm good with numbers. I can remember numbers. But I've got to have some human interaction. You know, when they did the COVID shutdown, and initially, y'all remember this in 2020? Could you believe that's 4 years ago? No. When they were the first word was, you're going to have to, you remember the phrase? Stay in place. And that meant you got to go to your house and not leave. So I literally did this. I went to the chief of police and our county sheriff and said, look, this is not going to work. I cannot stay at my house all the time. I have got to get out. I'm at least going to go run every single day. So if that's going to be a problem, I would like to make this request. I said, here's what I want to do. Let me go for a run. And if you got to arrest me, because that's what you have to do, arrest me, take me to jail. That's fine. But tomorrow you got to let me get out and go for my run because I've got to get out. I just can't. I mean, I'm sick. I can be really, really sick, and I still go to work. I still go do something because I can't stay. I can do it for a little bit, but it just doesn't fit long. It's that first sentence principle. We can do anything, but to consistently behave in a manner inconsistent with how we see ourselves doesn't work. We can do very few things in a positive way if we feel negative about ourselves. So, how do you put the lid on you? What's the lid of your capacity?
Self-doubt.
Self-doubt.
The first thing I think about, and I hope I'm not jumping ahead,
That's all right. I'm used to it.
is who I'm surrounded with.
Mm-hmm. Who you're surrounded with. We've talked about Ed Mallett here several times. He's not the first one, but he's the most recent I've heard talk about. You could be a thermostat or you could be a thermometer. And a thermometer measures the temperature in the room. So if people around you,
Thermostat says it.
you just reflect whatever it is there. But the thermostat sets it. You a little cold, turn up the heat. A little too hot, you can get cool. But we're the lid. We decide. And the problem is most of us don't actually decide. So we'll start here. What are you worth? Because that's the lid. All right. Anybody not want to make more money? Mm-hmm. I've never seen a dollar I couldn't spend. How about you? Okay. When I was telling I can't remember who it was before. Jacoby several months ago did one, and he's like, "What if you woke up and I put $1,000 in your bank? You had to spend it today." Psh, that's easy. I mean, can anybody not spend $1,000 today? And then tomorrow it's double, and the next day it's double, and the next day it's double, and the next day it's double. And he's like, "How long?" And people are taking a long time, and I'm like, "Bam!" Wrote it down, and then he doubles it. I'm like, "Bam!" Wrote it down. He doubles it again. Wham! Y'all finding this getting harder? I'm like, nope. Wham! 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 He gets up there and he's about ready to quit. I'm like, no, you need to go again. Wham! Okay, you need to go again. Wham! Because I can spend it. And I was very specific. I mean, you had to be specific. And I don't remember all the restrictions. You couldn't. You couldn't give away. You couldn't save it. I'm like, not a problem. Wham! Wham! Wham!
Too, right?
Huh?
It was you cannot invest it.
Yeah, you can't invest it. You just gotta
spend it.
Spend it. I hadn't met a dollar I couldn't spend. But you get a level in your heart and your mind, what you're used to. When you get past it, you know what happens most of the time? You come back down to it. You don't think about it that way, but you're set that way. So we'll just talk about some things that work. Word. That's a 1955 Mercedes. It's a one-off. It was literally the prototype. It sold recently at an auction. What would you say that car's worth? Anybody want to guess?
20
20?
million.
20 million? We could do it auctioneer style. Who'll give it 25, 5, 5, 5, 5, 30, 30, 35, what would you say? Anybody else want to guess?
50 million.
50?
I wouldn't have said that much, I would have said 3 million.
That's where I was thinking.
Okay, are you ready? Some of y'all better grab hold of your chair. It literally sold at auction.
142. Whose was it?
uh,
It was like in a Bond movie or something like that?
No, this is the one-off. This was the prototype, the
Oh,
first one
okay.
they built
Right.
for that body style, for that year. How about the most expensive house? Come on, real estate people. This is in Naples, Florida. Yes, it is private beach in front of it, which severely impacts the value. Anybody believe 295 million?
No.
That's what it sold for. Not what is listed, what it sold for. How about this?
$6.
$7.
No, wait, the first thing you need to say is it depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I went, obviously I went to Starbucks this morning. I didn't get this out of the trash. This was mine. And my wife went too. We got the exact same size cup. We both got grandes. Hers cost a whole lot more than mine. Hers cost more than double what mine did. I was glad my daughter wasn't there because hers cost more than 3 times what mine cost. And she always expects Dad to pay. Love you. I don't say I'm boring. I'm just very consistent and I like what I like.
How many espresso
Black
shots?
coffee.
Yeah.
No cream, no sugar.
314.
Yeah, it's literally $3.19. At least you can love it. Yeah, very good. Do you know what the most expensive? They had a TikTok challenge like 2 years ago. You know what the most expensive Starbucks order was?
24.
You might grab your chair for this one too.
No way.
$148.99. It had something like 16 or 17 shots of espresso and this syrup and that syrup. It sounded like something that could not be drank. That's what I thought. I was like, I want to go throw up. This sounds terrible. But anybody old enough to know how ridiculous it is that I spend $3.19 at least once every single day for a cup of coffee? Because when I think about what a cup of coffee is worth, if you make it at home, it's worth.
27.
Can't help it.
It depends. If you're doing a K-cup, they're 50 cents to $1. Some of them are $1.25. If you're doing an espresso, they're $1 to $1.50 or $2 each. If you're doing Folgers or the Walmart brand, whatever that one's called, yeah, you're about 25 cents, 50 cents. But I don't know if you ever thought about it. Nobody at Starbucks has ever put a gun to my head and said, Ray, you're going to pay $3.19 whether you like it or not. And I will tell you, I don't think it's worth that, but my actions tell you that it is worth it.
Yeah.
Because I walk in the morning at 98th and Slide, and when I get to the counter, usually I can see it when I come in the door. There is a grande cup of dark roast and a venti water. It's already punched up, and I just walk up with my phone and bing, because I order the same thing, same place every single day. What am I telling you? It's worth it. You know how they got $3.19 for it? They believed it was worth it, and they asked it. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
They believed it, and they asked it. What are you worth? You ever go bid a job and go, man, that's really high. Let me come here. Have you noticed nobody ever pays more than what you ask? Hello? This is not right. Well, maybe it is. I did this same presentation yesterday. They paid me $3,000 for it. The other company that I pitched it to, the guy goes, that's a lot of money. I'm like, Yeah, it's a lot of value. He says, I've never paid somebody for a 1 hour training that much. Well, you've never had me train your people.
That's it.
Oh, you think you're better? I don't think I'm better, but I'm more effective. One guy's like, sign me up. The other guy said, I can't afford that. You know what he told me? Not something about my value. He told me something about what he values himself and his sales staff. I'm like, dude, it's $100 a month if I do it once a quarter. You got 10 people, $100 a month, $300 a quarter. 10 people, I'm not very good at math, but 10 times 300 is 3,000. Now, if you run a sales staff, you don't think they're worth investing $100 a month into? He's like, I hadn't thought about it that way. I could tell. It's okay. You know, it's all right. My name's Ray, and I'm your friend. I'm here to add value to your life. Maybe I helped you out. So, what are you worth?
Another thing I would think about going to your coffee is one you said that it's very important that you can't put time on is you're a busy guy. You know how cool it is that you get to spend 25 minutes running to Starbucks with your wife, spending that quality time. And you know, the people like people in this town that we run into, I consider those things as networking events. When I go
For sure.
and I walk in, my shopping cart, all the things I do.
Yeah, and that's making, it's like, wait, my time's worth something. I'm worth something. This network's worth something. So yeah, it's incredible.
So
What are you worth?
Yeah.
You thought about it? Most people struggle with the answer to this question. Right. Unbelievably. We'll start it this way. Now, hopefully I don't have to tell you. I already said it once. But here's $1 million. If you woke up today and I handed you came here and I gave you $1 million that was real, how hard would it be to run your day? Huh?
Possible.
You know, just think about the stuff that ruins your day. If my wife called me right before we started and said, bad news. There's water everywhere. The water heater's busted. There's water everywhere. Is today the 19th? I think that's right. Whatever, 19th, 20th, whatever today, 20th. Yeah. Hey, baby, we ain't got no more money. We got 10 days before I get paid again. What's the level of that problem? Turn off the water to the water heater. We're going to take cold showers, or you're going to put it on the stove and warm it up, which is inconvenient, but it's a pretty big problem. If I got $1 million today, do I care what they charge me for the water heater or the installation?
No.
Some of you are like, Ray, you can put it in yourself. Yeah, but I learned 20 years ago, I can go make a whole lot more money than that plumber. And my frustration cost is worth more than even that money. So it's like, no big deal. Your engine goes out. Whatever you drive, we're just going to pretend your engine's $10,000. On the way here, your engine blows up. You get the call from the shop. Hey, you got to have a new motor in your car. If you started with $1 million, you're like, okay, no problem.
You can keep the car.
Now we know the value Pierre places on his car. Like, dude, it is not worth it. I've driven some of those. Like, you can have it. It's all right. Now, how about this? I give you 10 of those. Stack them up. $10 million. But you don't get to wake up tomorrow. This is your last day. Who takes my money? Do you know what you can do with $10 million? Why not?
I'm not ready to go see my Savior.
Yeah, it's like, man, I want to see Jesus, but not today.
I'm not done yet.
I'm not done yet. Do what?
Can't put a price on my life.
There you go. What you're saying is, one day of your life is worth more than $10 million. Some of you should have just had like fireworks in your head. One day. What are you worth? I don't know how long you think you're going to live. By statistics, I've got 22 more years. Now, here's what I think about doctors as statistics. It's like the GPS. Anybody else like this? When I punch in an address, usually since I'm a guy, I don't need directions. But when I do put it in, and it says it's going to take you 4 hours and 18 minutes, I'm like, challenge is on. I can beat that by at least 30 minutes. Let's go. Anybody else? So I'm same thing with the doctor. They're like, I had a doctor way back. She really wearing me out. This is where I learned you don't want a friend as a doctor because they think they can say anything. And she is wearing me out. I said, hey, I'm just trying to make it to 50. She said, Ray, at this rate, you won't make it to 40. I'm like, bet. 12 years ago, I had a doctor say, hey, Ray, you'll never run again. You'll never ride a motorcycle again. I was like, try me. What you're saying is, your one day is worth more. I'm not very good at math. 22 or 3 years. I mean, you're getting close. About 22 and a half years is what I'm supposed to have to live. Times 365, times $10 million. Well, you just, that's a lot of money, yeah? And you're saying your life's worth more than that. If you just broke it down to a little. Well, there you go. That's the first blank there. I am. On your notes, answer that. Let me set you up a little bit. What's the first thing? Can you remember the first thing you wanted to be when you're a little kid? While you're thinking about it. When I was 5 years old, we moved. Some of you don't know that there was an Air Force base west of Lubbock, but we moved 2 miles south of the runways of Reese Air Force Base. You just thought it was a research center that had long concrete for testing. And as a 5-year-old, most of the planes took off 2 miles. Well, that was from the road, so a little more than that. A little over 2 miles. So they come over my house. And they're fast and they're loud. And they make that turn and the sound's different. Sometimes they go what look like straight up. Barely see them, and then they come right back down and they turn. And I'm like, when I grow up, I'm going to be a pilot. Anybody want to guess if that happened?
I guess not.
No. It's still, it's still one of those things. It's like, one day, I'm going to go ahead and go out there and I'm going to take lessons and I'm going to be a pilot. And I'm going to have my own plane. And all I'm looking for is somebody to bet against me. Anybody?
Call your doctor.
Yeah,
Seem to work every
every time. What do you remember what you wanted to be first? What was it?
Astronaut.
There you go. Everybody always winds up. You ever notice? It's like, oh, I do better than that. You want to fly in atmosphere. I want to fly outside of it. I like it. Let's go higher.
I think,
Yeah, mine was
I think
doctor.
with some of that may also be your upbringing. I grew up, blue collar home, and my family was a truck driver, so I thought truck driving was what I wanted to do. I'm like, cool, I'm just gonna drive a truck. That's what they do.
Yeah, there you go. I had some of that. I was like, dude, big and wah. You
Oh,
just
you
drill a
saw it,
kid.
so,
Yeah, okay. It is context.
Yeah.
What'd you want to be?
A doctor.
A doctor. What'd you want to be? Can you remember?
You're afraid to like
Professional athlete. Now, which one? What did you care what kind?
a rodeo athlete.
There you go.
Probably
Here's my
under
real
10.
quick question.
Yeah, that's cool.
Did anybody do it?
Well, that was.
Why not?
When I got in the sport,
What happened?
football was the way.
Life?
No.
Somebody told you you couldn't?
No.
Maybe
It was too hard?
somebody else's dream for you.
Somebody else's dream for you? You said, I'm not able. It's not worth it. It takes too long. It costs too much. Who do I think I am? You notice life has a way of kind of pushing us down. People kind of have a way of pushing us down. And we let their lid become our lid. So, answer it today. I am just a blank who wants to succeed. And literally write it down. Anybody got one you want to share? Or you're willing to? Maybe don't want to.
I kept it simple, bro. I mean, I'm just a man who wants to succeed.
All right. I'm gonna pause there for just a second. This is really important to me. What's your success scoreboard? Here's what I figured out. This is like 98, 99. I was absolutely sick of my life. Anybody who looked externally, we had new house, we had new cars, wore nice clothes, we had good food, we got to go places, great vacations, all that stuff. All the stuff that we're kind of conditioned on the scoreboard, this is success. And my life sucked. To the degree of, I'm willing to change anything and everything. And finally, I figured out for me, Ray, you got the wrong scoreboard. You're playing a game that it's not consistent with who you are. You're playing a game that's not your game. You're living somebody else's dream. And so I spent a long time going, hey, what's your scoreboard? What's really important to you? What's winning for you? And if you've not done that, this thought is worth your time today. To what's your scoreboard? Because if success is somebody else's definition, whenever you get there, I got some friends who made $120 million in 1 year. That's kind of mind blowing to me. Dude, that's not bad. You know, that's a little bit beyond where I'm at right now. Not beyond my capacity, but where I am right now. You know what they found out? That rang a bell, but it didn't take long for those sound waves to quit. And it was a really empty win. You said, we could just retire. We don't have to work another. I don't know about you. I could probably make it a long time off of just what I could invest and get a return on 120 million. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, that would work.
4 generations.
Yeah. But they're like, that ain't it.
Sorry,
No.
sorry to interrupt. I think define success. I think success, for some, maybe assets, maybe what you just talked about,
Yeah.
the return. But for others, they may just be life in general.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. What's your scoreboard?
Everyone's scorecard or scoreboard
Yeah.
should be different
Yeah, for sure.
with no cap.
Yeah, no cap. But it's like, here it is. So on like my goals, my financial goals has a number or more. But right now, for me, where I'm at, I make good money. I expect to make a lot more this year than I made last year. But I understand what that's for. And for me, it's 2 other things. Freedom and experience. Jump doesn't do it for me. I drive nice cars. I like a nice house, blah, 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 blah. But I want the freedom to go when I want to go, do what I want to do, be where I want to be, spend time with God, and I want experiences. Like the very best thing for me, this was Christmas morning, going up to Christmas this year. My wife and kids, what do you want? What do you want? I got everything I want. Don't buy me anything. Just spend the money on yourselves, take care of it. I don't want anything. You could probably guess they went ahead and bought stuff. But we're sitting in Mexico where my daughter and son-in-law are missionaries and my grandson and granddaughter live. I open one gift and then I'm just watching them. And but I started crying then. I was like, yes, this is all I want. I want you here. I want to spend time with you. I want to enjoy that. I don't need stuff. But this experience, week and a half, I'm going to go to Mexico City and hang out with them for 5 days. It's not long enough, but
It's worth it.
hey, Ray, you can make $10,000 on May the 1st. Keep your money. I'd really go do that. You can make $100,000. Let's do it the 6th. I got plans 1st through the 5th. Because on my scoreboard,
It's them first.
my priorities, they're way above money. Somebody else? What? I'm Jesta.
Well, I'll add to what you kind of just
Okay.
said. It just struck a point with me because a couple things. I think from my experience, I've met a lot of people that's what they're driven by, right? It's a number, but everybody's got different aspects of life, different stages.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's really, other people are like we're saying freedom. Freedom's a big one for me. That word means so much that it's not just the money. You can't bribe me with money. There's certain other things that are
Right.
important. Other guys will just chase the money all day long, abandon everything else, and have 3 wives, and it just gets kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
But everybody's got their different things. But to add to what you were saying too, what's worked well for me in the past is you need to be specific with your goal.
Yeah.
And then from there, I always reverse engineer, saying, okay, so if I want to be this person by this time,
Mhm.
what do I need to do now to
Today.
get to
Yeah.
point B?
I
And
love
then
it.
reverse engineer the role and say, okay, well, I should be doing this and I should be doing this, and I'm not wasting one day and I'm making these
Here's the
calls,
steps.
not procrastinating.
Let's go. Good. Anybody else got one you share?
Man, just to put out a leader who wants to be impactful for everyone. One thing I look at is try to make a difference. If anything I can do to help someone out, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy seeing people.
My brother's getting ahead of me. And did you hear what he said? Did you hear the word he left out? Read it. Wait, say it again.
I am a leader who wants to be impactful for everyone.
Did you see the word he skipped?
Mm.
He didn't say I'm just a leader. He said I'm a leader. Cross that word out if you wrote it down. Because you're not a just. One day of your life is worth more than $10 million. You wouldn't trade $10 million for one day. Is that a just? Like, I'm the oldest dude in the room. So your lives, from that perspective, if it's just putting a monetary, you got more value, you got more potential. Now I said just a monetary, because I'm like, you having a hard time saying that. Because I ain't putting a lid on me. But that's a lid. So does it change your answer? I am a who wants to, who is doing this. So here's you. We'll just kind of skip through there. This is what I just heard Steve say. I want to make a difference in people's lives. I want to impact them. So here we go. This is what we really came to. What are you capable of? We're going to go fast here because I want to give us time to kind of go back and forth some. If you're going to climb the mountain, anybody know the name Jim Whittaker? Okay. Jim Whittaker was the first American to summit Mount Everest. Just to give you a little context of why that's important, 330 people have lost their lives trying to climb that mountain. When people do, there have been a few who trained for 12 months. Typically, they train for 18 to 24 months of intense training. There have been a lot of others who attempted and failed. They didn't die, but frostbite, sicknesses, broken limbs, and they come back. After Whittaker summited it, he made it his mission in life to equip other people. He created a company called AEI, and he trained people. So he had one of the largest groups to that time who was ever going to summit, or attempt to summit, Mount Everest. It was a big news story, and so there's stations out there. One particular reporter and the cameraman walks up and says, "Mr. Whittaker, tell me about this." And he goes through everything else. And finally he says, "I got one more question for you. Why would people spend so much time and so much money at such an incredible risk just to climb a mountain?" And Whittaker looked at him in the eyes and he said, "It is clear to me that you've never been to the top of the mountain. And since you've not been to the top of the mountain, I can't explain it to you. What's your capacity?" Sometimes you got to stop and go, "Hey, how far have I come? How far up the mountain have I gotten?" And that one resounds with me because I love to be at the top of a mountain and look. See forever. So if you're going to climb the mountain, and have you noticed that everything worthwhile in life is uphill?
Nothing good comes easy.
I've got a friend, sometimes we talk about like, what's the best quote you've ever heard? And then I ask, what's the worst? So this friend of mine says, the best quote I've ever heard for life and business is, "If it's hard, it's wrong." And literally I went, "Would you say that again? Because I'm sure I misunderstood you." He said, "If it's hard, it's wrong." I don't know what to say to that because I can't think of anything more wrong than that. But what I did is I sat there for a little bit and then we went to the other one and I said, What's the worst quote you've ever heard? I said, let me go first. Right? Because the stuff that's been meaningful to me, I worked hard at it. And I worked long at it. And I kept on. And when everything inside of me saying, stop, quit, it's not worth it, you can't do it. What do?
Keep going.
Have you seen this? Anybody read David Goggins or listen to him? I mean, they've statistically proven when your mind is saying you're done, you got no more capacity, you've used 40% of your physical capacity. Your brain says you're done, and it's like, you're not even halfway yet. Is that true just of physical capacity? No. So climb a mountain. Everything worthwhile in life is uphill. The only way you coast for very long is, you can't coast here very long. You got to be going downhill. And every day, every life's too precious to do that, right? So here we go. If you're going to climb the mountain, first thing is you got to guard your self-talk. We're going to go fast on these, but you got it. You know the thing? I don't know where your voice is. Mine camps out over here. I can hear it talking to me. Ray, you're not strong enough. You're not smart enough. You're not good enough. You're not worth that much. You know when that dude says, $3,000 for an hour of training? That's a lot of money. Part of it is like, I can't believe I'm asking. And part of it is, you wait till next year, Jack. Because this is a bargain right now. If you don't think I raise my prices, you ain't thinking. But that self-talk, that voice, you've had the other ones, and they're tough, right? But that one that you internalize, that's the really bad one. And you got to guard it. You can control your mind. We will take the time here, if you need the tactic to do that, to stop that self-talk, to protect your mind, to control your mindset, talk to me, we'll do that. Second one is, stop, and this is that third blank, stop comparing yourself to others. What's the problem with comparing yourself to others? What is it? The thief of joy. Why? Here's the reality. There's always somebody ahead of you, and there's always somebody behind you. If I compare myself to someone behind me, wait a second. Do I want to be there? I mean, you've probably heard the little cliche deal now. Never take advice from somebody who's behind you. You know why? It's like, why would I let somebody else criticize or complain about me and take it to heart when you're behind me? If you don't want to trade places, don't take their advice, don't take the criticism or the complaints. I don't want to trade places with somebody behind me. The problem with comparing myself to somebody ahead of me, too far ahead of me, is I'm never going to get there. I don't measure up. I'm not as good. Hey, you were called to be you. God made you to be you, not somebody else. That's why you got to have your own scoreboard. That's why you got to know your own value. That's why you got to live your life. Real quick story. I'm a runner now, but when I was in school, I don't know if anybody could have hated running more than me. Like hate. My oldest daughter's in 3rd grade, and towards the end of the year, about this time of year, a bunch of schools, we were in a small town then, a bunch of area schools got together. They had this cross-country meet for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. So she's 3rd grade, and she may be the only person who hates running more than me. And they're going to have this 2-mile race. Well, we're like, it's going to be hard. I don't know. So what we decided to do is I went to the first corner. So she's going to come a half mile, and I'm going to be there. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And I mean, I know y'all can't tell because I'm not wearing a skirt, but I'm a great cheerleader, y'all. I mean, I was really good. I didn't have the pom-poms, but and then my wife was going to be at the next corner, and then my mom and my youngest daughter at the next corner. We're going to cheer her on. Well, when I see her almost a half mile, I'm like, dude, she is not going to make it. So I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt and jeans and some boots. I run down there to her, and I'm like, good job, Caitlin, let's go. And I'm running with her, and I'm talking to her, and I'm encouraging her. She's like, I don't think I can do it. No, you can do it. Yeah, I'm coaching her up. I'm doing the whole thing. I'm motivating her. And I get to my corner where I'm supposed to just be. And I'm like, you know what? If you stop, she's going to stop. So I round the corner. Pow, pow, pow. We're doing great. people are passing us. And she's whining, and inside I'm whining, like, maybe we should quit. I hate running. I hate my life right now. And so we're getting closer to my wife, and I'm like, so she starts, I was like, cheer for me. No, cheer for her. And so we do the same thing. We round the corner, we're heading, and everybody has passed us. She's like, Dad, I can't. And I said, Caitlin, here's what you've got to realize. Running is about winning. And she looked at me like, you're the biggest idiot that has ever been born. Because she's in next to last place. I mean, I sped up to talk to her. And I said, not against them. It's winning against yourself. I said, you remember when you came over here and practiced last week? Are you doing better today than you did last week? Yes, sir. I said, you're winning. Now the win is when you want to quit and you don't. It doesn't matter what place you are when you cross the finish line. It's that you didn't quit. You kept on with everything inside of you. Your heart, your mind, your body are saying, I'm done. You are capable of so much more than you think. So stop comparing yourself to others. Third one is move beyond your limiting beliefs. That's the lid. This one, I think, is for most people really hard to actually identify because our belief systems are so ingrained we don't even recognize them. But they put the lid on us. We just leave it there. We don't even know it. We don't even see it. What is it you tell yourself, I can't? When do you tell yourself, I can't? I'm not enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not funny enough. I don't have enough resources. If I could be like somebody else, back to the comparing. What are those limiting beliefs? And you got to move past them. You got to break through them. Fourth one is add value to others. Have you noticed when you feel the best in life? It's not when you're getting. It's when you're giving. It's not when, you ever go to a restaurant and you notice the service not because it's good? And you're like, hey, they better get their job. They better get after it. I'm really keen on that. But I've left the biggest tip I've ever left for the worst service. But I didn't just leave the money. I stopped. And it's kind of like, I said, hey, I don't know what's going on. I get the impression you're having a really rough day. And this young lady just starts bawling, tears streaming down her face. And she said, yeah, my dad died this morning, and my first customer yelled at me. And it's just gone from bad to worse. And I'm crying like, man, I'm sorry, because I wanted to yell at her. And I started leaving no tip. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, can I pray for you? She said, would you? Yeah. I left her a $100 tip, which she appreciated. But which one do you think she appreciated even more? The prayer. You ever in too big a hurry to even notice somebody in need? We go one step closer. You ever so wrapped up in yourself that all you think about is me, serve me, what do I want, what I need, what do I deserve? If we take this attitude of who can I serve? Who can I help? Who can I bless? Right before we started today, Jacoby and I were talking about a book. It is super short. and super good. It's called The Go Giver. There's a book called The Go Getter. It's pretty good too, like get your hustle on, let's go. But this is The Go Giver. And if you've been paying attention, the people who go the furthest, who have a good scoreboard and are winning at it, are really more concerned about giving. Zig Ziglar would say it this way: you get everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. It's true. Who can I serve? Number 5, do the right thing even if it's hard, if it's the hard thing. There's some room there for you on your notes. Here's the question. What's the one thing that you're not doing now that if you started doing on a consistent basis would have a major positive impact on your personal and professional life? What's the one thing that you are not doing now that if you started doing it and you did it on a consistent basis would have a major positive impact on your personal and professional life? And personal is first, because if you suck personally, you suck professionally. If your life is a wreck, everything you touch is a wreck. Spend a moment thinking about it. What is it? What's that one thing that if I do this, it makes a difference? It changes. And most of us probably have something. If you're not familiar with the book Atomic Habits, it talks about 1% improvement every day. So if you just did one thing, and it's usually, you know this probably, you may have framed it some other way, but you know this and you just don't want to do it. But if you do that one thing today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, but you did that one thing today, and then tomorrow you did that one thing and the next thing. And then Monday you did that one thing and the next thing and the next thing. All right, well, that's too fast. All right, just add one a week. The point is, don't talk about it. Don't think about it. Do something. And that's where we usually get stuck. We got a great plan. We got great goals. We got it all mapped out. Man, this is going to be great. When? You know what I found out in my business? More people I talk to, more clients I get to serve. It's like, who'd have thought that? The more offers you put out, the more deals you get, right? The more bids you put out, the more bids you get. The more people you contact, the more people you get. The more adjusting you do, the more adjusting you get. It just goes on and on and on, but it's take the step. Well, I'm uncomfortable. What if they say no? Well, they're going to say no already. They've said no till you ask. And then you got a shot at a yes. Jacoby gets listings by asking. There's some people calling out like, hey, I want to sell my house. Which one's more productive? Talking to people, talking to people, talking to people, talking to people. Hey, man, can I do an appraisal on your house? You know what your house is worth? Oh, really? You can get me that for my house? Yeah. And guess what? Now you got a sell and a buyer. Sorry. Because everybody who moves out of a house is probably moving into, like, hey, this is a win-win. Start every day with a win. And then you have transition. Anybody serve in the military? Okay. How important was it to make your bed in the morning?
That was a big thing.
Okay. Did you ever skip it?
No.
It wasn't even an option. You know why they do that? It's the discipline, and it starts with a win. You do the hard thing. You get it in. It's done. Start every day with a win. For me, it's one of those hard things. I shoot for 5 days a week, running or going to the gym. You know how many days? Now, just to brag a little bit, I went 4 years and like 6 months of running every single day, average 3.5 miles every day. Every day. By the way, y'all remember in, was it 20 or 21 when we had 21, where we had the February, people lost electricity and it was super cold for so long. I'm out running, it's 45 mile an hour winds and the real temperature is -9. I'm out running down the road, these people keep pulling up, they're like, you're gonna die, do you need a ride? I said, you're slowing me down, I'm good. I'm on a challenge right now that 75 hard means I gotta be outdoors working out for 45 minutes. So I'm here. You're gonna die. No, I'm just cold.
What's it?
Anybody want to guess what percent of times I didn't want to get my butt out of bed
99.
and go run? I don't know, because I tried not to count about it, because all it did was bring me down. Pay attention, right? Because I made a decision, I made a commitment. I'm doing this every single day, no matter what.
What?
When I got done, though, you know what I did every time? Yes! I did it! I overcame myself. I overcame that bed that was like pulling me in. I overcame my don't want to. And when you do that, you start with a win. And you know what's easier to do on the next thing when you already got a win in? Win again. And win again, you start stacking them. You've started some momentum. And if you don't think momentum's important, pay attention to anything in life. Momentum matters, yes? So celebrate the small victories. This is one that's hard for us, because there's always, if you're driven, if you're going uphill, you get to the top of one mountain, guess what? There's a higher mountain out there. It's like, oh, no, that's good. But if you don't celebrate the wins, even the small wins, you give up. You lose your intensity. You want to diet? Celebrate. Hey, it only moved 0.2. That's better than going 0.2 the other way or staying the same, isn't it? Or, this morning I got on the scale, like, well, that kind of makes me mad.
You must be standing on it weird, right?
Yeah, okay, maybe that's it. But
I
I'm
always do that. Like, maybe I'm on the tile weird. We gotta.
yeah, but it's like, and I was like, dang it. But I followed dang it immediately with, here's what I know. I ate on my plan perfectly yesterday. I don't know what's up with this, but way to go, Ray. You didn't. And it was up a little bit, but hey, I've had some 4 or 5 pound days. Like, the brother can eat. So I took the win. I had to find it. I resisted Dr. Pepper and pecan pie. That's a major win in my world. Like, woo, let's go. So celebrate every win. We're almost done. That's good news, right? Embrace a positive vision for your life based on what you value. This is your scoreboard. And your optimism, your attitude of optimism. Expand your capacity. I don't know if you've thought about it. And you could argue for a little bit, but I'll argue with you back and prove my point. The only people whose best days are behind them are dead. If you're breathing, you got a shot. Your best days are still ahead of you. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't limit yourself. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep growing. Keep expanding. Number 9, practice the one-word strategy. You already know what that is?
Go.
Okay, maybe it's go. The concept, because I think everybody's word probably going to be different. For mine right now, it's hyphenated, multiply life, and life is an acronym. Leadership, income, freedom, experience. Anybody surprised by any of those based on what I've already said? Leadership is my impact. I want to add value to people who multiply value to others. My income's better than it's ever been, but not as good as it's going to be. Are you money driven? Nope. But I think it's relatively close to breathing. You just think about all the problems money solves, all the options money gives, and everything in your life that's touched by money. It's pretty important. I already told you about my freedom and experience. So for me, it's real simple. Just real clear. Does today add income to me? Nope. I told you yesterday I got paid $3,000 to do this, and I did it faster. Maybe that's why. Doesn't do this, but it gives me an opportunity to add value to you. You know what my expectation, my return is from today? Tell somebody something you learned today. Change your life. You step up, but give it to somebody else. So I add value to you, and you multiply value to others. And I look at that and go, hey, this was an experience worth having. What's your one-word strategy, the thing? And it may be the thing for today. It may be the thing for a while. I think it needs to be longer to really get some traction, make some progress on it. But the one thing that you're like, this is it. If I do this, if I do this, if I do this, if I do this, just day after day after day after day after day. Because how often do you start and then you get distracted? You start, remember the great Mike Tyson line? Everybody's got a plan. Well, I can't say it like Mike Tyson, but everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Yeah, you can get punched in the mouth. What are you going to do then? Get the cobwebs and the butterflies out of your head and do that one thing. Number 10, take responsibility for your life. I think one of the most apt descriptions of our culture is the victim culture. And it's one of the things that concerns me the most about the future of our world. Because when you play the victim, you know what you just gave up? Yeah, accountability, the ability to respond, the ability to make a difference. Let me illustrate it, and then we're going to do some around. I'm a car guy, like fanatical car guy. I love cars. I got lots of cars. I got too many. Not such a thing. Everybody else thinks I got too many cars, but it's on my scoreboard. Not as important, but man, I love them. Several years ago, well, 2 years ago, I bought a brand new GMC pickup. I love that pickup, AT4. It's kind of like what Jacoby's driving right now. I love that pickup. I'd had it for a month and a half, and I quit driving because it was hail season. And there was one day, the first hailstorm, I barely got it in the garage before it started hailing. And I'm driving like, you talk about beating the GPS, I'm cutting the time in half. Wham! And literally, I pull in, and it's bam, 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 bam. So I had this other pickup that I had around. It was I've got some big trailers, RV, and all that stuff. So I had this workhorse, 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive Duramax. Oh, it's one of the Tim the Toolman Taylor. It was, but it was big and it was rough, and I didn't care what happened to it. So I'm driving it, and we walk out. My whole family had breakfast together at Pancake House right down the street here. We walk out, and it's parked right there in front. I mean, you got to get around it. It's so big. But you bought a new pickup. I did. Why are you driving this? Because it's hailing, and I don't want my new pickup getting hailed on. We left there, and 6 minutes later, coming down here, we just passed Indiana. I think it's the next line. There may be one in between. I think it's the next line. I've got the green, and the turn lane has the flashing yellow. The guy coming west, right when I hit the intersection, turns in. I hit the brakes and just wham! He's in a brand new, bought it on Friday, and this is Saturday, brand new Honda. Totaled, my pickup's totaled. Whose fault was it? Let me ask, who got the ticket? The guy with the green light or the guy who turned on a flashing yellow? He got the ticket. It was his fault. But if I just go, man, I was a victim of a stupid driver, didn't pay attention. Right, well, it wasn't your fault, right? What would have happened if I'd left 10 seconds earlier? I'd have been through the intersection for you. If I'm 10 seconds slower, he's through the intersection. If I'm in the left lane, I might have clipped the back of it, or I might have been able to swerve enough to miss it. If I'm in the right lane, maybe he sees me and doesn't even do it. If I'd have gone another route, you're like, but Ray, you don't know all those things. Well, anybody want to guess what I do every time I come up to an intersection now? Foot off the gas, cover the brake. By the way, that's the Lubbock, Texas rule.
Yeah.
If your light turns green, you better look both ways, because here's what you can count on. Somebody's about to run that red light. Well, it's not my fault. Okay, it's not your fault. But if you pull out there and get hit, what are the chances you're going to get hurt? And it's going to be a hassle and a headache, and I ain't got time for that stuff. So if I just take responsibility, I can't control what's out there, but I can control me. I need to be a defensive driver. I need to speed up, which was my choice. I'm just going to drive faster everywhere. I'm kidding a little bit. You know, I'm responsible. I've got to take responsibility. The rest of it is, I don't want to be responsible when I do screw up. How about you? But if I don't take responsibility, I'm probably like 100% not going to change and not going to get better. And I'm going to keep making the same mistakes. I don't want to do that. Do you?